everyone, welcome back to another video. My name's Max and today is the third and final episode of my summer craft series. In the last episode I made a miniature beach hut. Today I'm going to be making some summer bunting to decorate your rooms with. As this is the last video of the series, I decided to make this craft a little bit more complicated and put a bit more effort into it. I hope you enjoy the video.
To make this bunting, you will need some fabric to make your triangles with, a pair of scissors, a stencil of the triangle shape that you want to cut. This can be made of scrap paper, something to make your designs with. This could be thread for embroidery or it could be paint. You can use fabric paint, I'm just using acrylics. You can also use some buttons for the back. And of course you will need a needle and thread. The first step is to cut out your triangle shapes. To do this, lie your stencil on top of the fabric. You can pin it down if you'd like, and use a pencil and ruler to draw the sides in, and then get your scissors and cut through where the lines are. This works a lot better if you have fabric scissors, which I did not, so it took a very long time for me. You then repeat this as many times as you like to get as many triangles as you need. The next step is to put your designs on the fabric. Using embroidery would probably give you better results, however it would be a lot harder and would take a lot longer. Painting does work just fine, ideally with fabric paint, but acrylic paint works too, as long as you have something on the back to make sure it doesn't stick to your table or damage it in any way. I am only painting designs on half of the fabrics because on the other half I'm going to sew buttons on, and then I'm going to sew a button triangle onto the back of a pattern triangle. This is so that I don't have to spend loads of time making 24 different designs, and instead I can just put buttons on and still keep the back of the bunting interesting. As you saw, I'm using two different kinds of fabric. One is a very flimsy, stretchy t-shirt fabric, and the other is a very sort of tough blue denim. I am painting on 6 yellow ones and 6 denim ones. I tried to have more cold colours on the yellow ones and more warm colours on the blue ones to add a bit of contrast. I didn't stick to this rule entirely because some things just look better with different backgrounds. I chose blue and yellow because, in my opinion, they are very summery colours. In summer the sky is blue and you go to the beach where the sand is yellow. And all of my designs were related to summer as well. On the yellow bunting I included a flip-flop, a rubber ring flamingo, an ice lolly, a watermelon, a starfish, and what summer bunting would be complete without a Mr. Whippy with a flake. On the blue denim bunting, I painted the sun, another ice cream, a sandcastle, a beach ball, a pineapple, and a boat. I found the yellow fabric was a lot easier to work with than the denim fabric. This was mostly because the denim fabric was a lot darker, so when I was painting the sun here, it wouldn't let the yellow just live its life. It kept showing through and being annoying. It was also a lot worse at absorbing the paint, which in theory is a good thing, but really it just meant that the paint wouldn't stick properly and it would stay wet for a lot longer. If you're using denim at home for yours and you're combining it with acrylic paints, I would suggest not doing that and using fabric paints or embroidery instead, or just using a different type of fabric. Now that you've finished your designs, if you want to add buttons, this is the time to do it. It doesn't have to be buttons, you can add other embellishments like flowers or more embroidery or other sewing accessories you might have at home. I sewed blue buttons on my yellow triangles and yellow buttons on my blue triangles. The buttons didn't come in consistent sizes, so some have one big button while others have lots of small buttons. If your paint has dried and all your components are ready, then it's time to get sewing them together. I did this by facing the designed sides on each other, like the buttons were facing the design, and that way I could turn it inside out afterwards and it would be a lot more neater along the edges. I would recommend using a blanket stitch for this. I was stupid and I used some sort of weird running stitch thing, but ignore that, that was me being dumb. Just use a blanket stitch instead because that will stop fraying. And finally, it's time to bring it all together and sew your bunting onto a stringy thing. I don't know what to call it. I made mine using wool and I crocheted it. I got 3 lengths of wool and then just did an ordinary chain stitch. And if you're going to do this, I'd recommend using lots and lots of wool and make it really, really long, because this does eat up the length very quickly, and I had to add an extra bit onto mine at the end. That's the end of the video. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed, let me know in the comments and leave a like and subscribe while you're there. If you made your own bunting, I'd love to see it. Please send me a picture on Instagram. And I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!